it's your boy DJ Wolf. You know, something just dawned on me. I talked about it before in a podcast I did the previous week, a week or 2 weeks ago, something like that. It was titles about integration, the integration failures. And I wanted to address something on top of that, because we did allow it to fail us because we, although we had our own business at one time, we had our own businesses, we had our own baseball leagues, we had our own sports teams that were black owned and black run. All right, and we had our own diners, we had our own this, we had a lot of our own businesses that we had that were black owned. All right, what we were trying to, or generations of people were trying to fight for, was to be inclusive in white established companies and organizations. And in the case with Major League Baseball, the owners were getting more and more black players after they signed up Jackie Robinson. Once they got Jackie Robinson, man, they actually shut down the Negro League, because a lot of the players were looking to be inclusive with white players, to be equal to white players, when all the while the white players didn't even want you in their league. You know, they didn't want to play with you at all. That was the reason why they had a separate, why the white leagues were predominant, were almost all, was all white prior to 1947. You know, but the reason why the owners had signed, one of the reasons the owners had signed the black players, because the black ball players knew how to play ball and play it well. You know, and they were considered the new star attractions in baseball. You know, notice that they didn't bring just any black players into the major leagues. They brought the top black players in black baseball into the leagues. Okay, kind of like what they're doing now with guys like Lonzo Ball, and there was just another guy, I forgot his name, DeAndre or something. Somebody was saying that the Lakers should actually draft him over Lonzo Ball. I'm not sure, but the other guy I've never seen play, so I have to check it out. I'll give you a report on that later. But nevertheless, it's I think we actually priced ourselves out of a business. What we should have done was be able to have our businesses compete in the fair market versus integration. Nothing wrong with integration, but it's got to be right. It has to be something that everybody adheres to, because otherwise it's just, it don't work. I mean, integration with Major League Baseball ruined black business in baseball. The Negro Leagues were gone because so many players got signed into Major League Baseball. And the Negro Leagues could no longer compete. That was the downfall. And I just happened to think about that. I said, wow, I always wondered, and it's just a lot of things that happened. Look at the schools. I mean, I was about 37 years ago. I was bussed over across town to a white school. You might have heard of it. Actually, it was Thomas Jefferson Middle School. It made such a big deal when I got bussed over there that it actually made a headline story in well, not a headline. It made a story in Jet magazine. The very school I went to that very year, and I actually happened to be a ninth grader that year when the story was published. And they were talking about how Boston and Cleveland, there was a couple of issues. Because Cleveland, that's when the Cleveland started bus, was right around that time. In a way, I was sort of excited about it, but then it was like, and I was only bused over there for about 6 months, and that was it. But the majority of kids that were bused across town were mostly black kids. They didn't bust a lot of white kids across to my side of town. You know, that's why integration, and I hate to say it, integration didn't work. Not like the way people thought it should work. It really didn't. And I'm being very honest about it. I'm telling you for a fact, it didn't. You know, maybe what we should have done was allow ourselves to be competitive in the marketplace with everybody else in those businesses, and business-wise. As far as schools go, build standard schools that everybody else have in the white neighborhoods, make them the same in the black neighborhoods. Because when they bust those kids over to our neighborhood schools, our schools weren't any better. There weren't any more improvements. They really weren't. Well, if we bust the kids over to this side of town, you get a more quality education. I'm going to be honest. For a young man who was bused across town to a school 37 years ago, I can honestly tell you right up front, it didn't make a goddamn difference. My education wasn't any better than it was when I went to a white school than I did when I was back in my old neighborhood school. It was no different. I'm going to be totally honest with you. It was no different. That's why I said integration, on a lot of respects, was a failure. And I never thought I'd say that, but it was. It was an absolute failure. Not to saying that integration doesn't work in other areas, but in many areas like that, when it came to busing, when it came to us being integrated in sports like NFL and all of that, NBA, Major League Baseball, I thought it took a long time for Major League Baseball to really get fully integrated. But it didn't always work, But what I was saying was integration as far as black businesses, it turned out to be an epic fail on so many levels. It really did. That's my take on it. Questions or comments on what I just mentioned? Of course, you feel free to contact me for All to Hear TV on YouTube, for All to Hear on Twitter, DJ Wolf Online at yahoo.com, DJ Wolf Live on Facebook, for All to Hear on Facebook. And any other questions or comments, you can also email me for alltohear@gmail.com. Alright guys, that's all I got on this podcast right now. I'm likely to do another podcast tonight, a live one. I'm going to try to do a Hangouts. For some reason my audio was a little bit, it started out well and then all of a sudden it just went south. I don't know what happened. I'm going to have to test it out again. I may just test it out another night before I actually do another full podcast, because I do want to do another live podcast. I enjoyed it. But that's all I got for right now, guys. This is DJ Wolf. I got more to say about this and other stuff on the back burner. I'll talk to you guys later.